Before the Orkin, before the Tenno, before humanity had fully conquered the origin system, there was a band. 5 young men, very handsome young men, from the city-state of Hulvania who sang about connection, youth, and the kind of synthetic love that only existed at the edge of a dying century. They called themselves On-Lyne. And in 1999, they were everything. Perfect hair, that guy next door fashion, which I think is a phrase. I know they have the girl next door thing, so moving on. And music so catchy, it felt hypnotizing. Think of a lot of the boy bands that were popping off back in the 80s and 90s that we know of in the real world. The ones who wouldn't have been successful if they weren't hot. I would also say think of K-pop here, but I'm fairly sure I'd be in an ISIS beheading video before tomorrow morning if I ever even dreamt of saying a K-pop artist's music where they were only popular for their looks. I would be gone by tomorrow morning. Anyway, for most of the world, On-Lyne was just another pop phenomenon. But for those paying attention, something about On-Lyne never quite felt right. Their performances were too precise. Their look too uniform. As if they were already more machine than man. And while it turns out that behind the scenes, their management was completely controlling every aspect of their life, or at least attempting to. After a while though, after the fame, the success, and the wealth, the On-Lyne members felt confident in trying to gain more freedom from their label, and they wanted to speak for themselves, talk about topics they were interested in, and ultimately make the songs they wanted to make. This dream for independence, for freedom, is what led to their downfall, an ultimate replacement. But before we get into that jazz, let's talk about who the actual members of the group are. Alright, so there are 5 members of the boy band On-Lyne, and let me tell you, they got a guy for everybody. If you like men, you like On-Lyne, and that's just how it is. They originally were actually planning to make all 5 members based off me and how I look, to really draw in the female and gay male audience. But DE ultimately decided to go in a different direction because I'm just too sexy. Alright, joking aside, I used to work with this gay guy, right? Good dude, great dude. And he complimented how I smelled before, like the cologne I was using, and it was like a purely friendly thing, no flirting, we were bros. But the point I'm getting at is that men need to compliment each other more, because I don't think I've ever received a compliment like that before from a fellow man. So guys, start complimenting your bros, it's just the right thing to do. I feel like women are constantly complimenting one another. We gotta catch up and help boost each other's ego and confidence. Alright, generational rant aside, let's go ahead and actually talk about the 5 On-Lyne members and the incredibly short backstory that we have about each one. Or not even really a backstory, just description. The first member that we'll talk about is Hard Drive. And the description that we get of him is from an insanely dedicated On-Lyne fan. Well, okay, all the descriptions we get are from insanely dedicated On-Lyne fans. So his description is, Hard Drive is strong, but sensitive. He really knows how to treat a girl and make her feel like she's the only one in the world. He's always positive and focused on the bright side of life. And that's important, because whenever things get tough, there's always time to party. Hard Drive tells it like it is and isn't afraid to speak his mind. Heart emoji. Don't let the muscles and tough guy act fool you though. He's more of a cuddly teddy bear than a ferocious grizzly. Smiley winky face. So yeah, those were a combination of words that I just read out loud, and unfortunately for my street cred, I have 4 more of these descriptions to read. Hopefully this doesn't get clipped and sent to any of my friends. The next group member we'll talk about is Drillbit. And you know what? I personally say that he's probably the most attractive member to me, a straight man. This is his description. Drillbit gets to the heart of the other bandmates. He knows just how to say what the rest of the boys are thinking, even if they don't themselves. Sometimes it feels like he speaks directly to the fans. He's highly intelligent and his voice is calm and reassuring. ... You might think he already knows everything about you. This is honestly a really creepy description. I'm not sure why the superfan decided to go with with this. It's pretty creepy. I'm also not sure why his name is Drillbit. I'm not positive that's the best name of all time. Like, personally, if I was starting a boy band, I wouldn't go with the name Drillbit or Hard Drive or Packet, the next member we're going to talk about. Packet appears to be a young Asian boy. Shout out if you get that joke. If you don't, trust me, it's funny and not weird. Well, it's a little bit weird, but not because of me. I'm playing the clip in the background. You know the guy with the suits? He like squeezes their butt.
And he wants to show off his planet and he wants to be violated. I'm so sick of smacking Chinese boys. I want to smack some girls. Is that kosher enough? I want to smack some girls. Is that kosher enough? I want to smack some girls. Is that kosher enough? Young Chinese boy, are you happy?
Very.
Okay. Moving on. This is his description. Sometimes it's tough being the youngest, but Packet knows how to hold his own. He might get flustered on the camera when he's nervous, but that just makes him cuter. He's into hacking and computers and stuff like that, which is pretty crazy for someone his age. How old is he? He's a total nerd and super smart too. Packet keeps the peace between the boys, and it's hard not to sympathize with him. He hates aggressive journalists and wishes that everyone could just get along. Sounds like a real nice guy, real heartthrob. Every group needs a peacekeeper, besides my friend group, who just constantly rage baits each other. Alright, let's move on to the next member we'll talk about. DJ Rob, and holy fuck, dude. I understand that each of these names are like a technical computer reference thing, but damn, these are some ass names for a boy band. DJ fucking Rob, are we serious right now? Packet? Drillbit? Nah, bro, this has to be fixed. I vaguely remember a video where I mentioned On-Lyne before, and I'm pretty sure I crashed out about their names, just the same way I'm doing now. Anyway, here's his description. DJ Rom always stays true to himself, and never tries to change who he is or how he acts around others. The rest of the boys are special and unique in their own way, but there's no denying that DJ is the group's ultimate maestro. He's quiet and soft-spoken, but he has really big ideas. He loves his family and his hometown, but yearns for something more. He always wants to make them proud. Whenever the band has a new hit that makes people go crazy, you can hear DJ Rom's signature, Touch, all over it. And finally, we have our last member, Zeke. Yes, his name is Zeke. I'm surprised it's not megabytes or some shit. Like, honestly, how do we have Hard Drive, Drillbit, Packet, DJ Rom, and then fucking Zeke? On-Lyne is not real, bro. I mean, they literally aren't. Alright, here's Zeke's description. Zeke never thinks about himself. He's all about the fans. And even though On-Lyne is the biggest thing in the entire world right now, he always stays humble. Zeke is real, ... Like the kind of guy you can tell your secrets to. He doesn't focus on the differences in people and believes that everyone deserves the same level of respect. I love how this implies the other group members don't agree with that. Only Zeke thinks that everyone deserves the same level of respect. The rest of the members of On-Lyne are horrifically racist.
I'm white. I'm black. I'm yellow. I'm red. I'm blue.
He can be a bit superficial, but is that a bad thing? Zeke has sex appeal because he knows how to wear sexy clothes. The other members of the band, especially Drillbit, might be a bit jealous. Anyway, it's interesting that Drillbit and Zeke might have some secret beef because Zeke dresses sexier. I'm glad we got that information because it is absolutely crucial that we know they're jealous of how each other dress. I mean, the insight is insane. Anyway, that's all I got for talking about the actual group and who they are, and to really make this entire section pointless, I'm going to drop a truth bomb. Everything we know about the personalities was likely either written by a fan who has never met them, or by their own company who would obviously be interested in portraying them in a positive light. In all reality, we have very, very little information regarding the original On-Lyne members and how they acted. Maybe someday in Warframe's future, we'll get to find out more, but as of right now, the original On-Lyne members are basically just mythological creatures, and in their place, we just have monsters.
On-Lyne, we're On-Lyne. Step into the night where all the stars are bright. We're back again to do this, and we're gonna do it right.
As I said earlier, the management for the On-Lyne group were getting frustrated with them. with Gregory V, their manager, saying this: "The only predictable thing about pop stars these days is their whining and complaining. Fame really goes to their perfectly coiffed heads. This frustration caused Mr. Gregory here to start looking for alternatives to the current On-Lyne group. No, he didn't just want to replace them with new members he could manipulate to listen to him, because guess what? This cycle of problems would just continue. He wanted to literally recreate the members of On-Lyne and use their DNA to essentially create clones of them that would do whatever he said, without ever complaining or having their own opinions. And that, my friends, is how the technocyte coda program was started. Or, well, technically not started, but what it ended up being for. Everything that we know involving Gregory and his creation of the fake On-Lyne comes from a group of emails from him to a director within the Halvanian government that we have access to because Aoi of the Hex asked Amir, also of the Hex, to look into the communications between Hitmaker Music, the management company behind On-Lyne, and the Halvanian government. This is the email Aoi sent to Amir. "Amir, thank you for helping me with this. Your hacking skills are going to help On-Lyne so much." Heart emoji. "You don't have to be a fan of their music to admit they deserve better, right? Poor guys." Frowny face. "If we get a paper trail of the shady backroom deals between Hitmaker and the Halvanian government, we can give it to On-Lyne. That way, they'll have everything they need to break their contract and get away from these users as soon as we get them home." I hear their manager is old school. He's just now figuring out email because he has to for business. But a tech wizard like you can hack his stuff no problem. Smiley wiki face. First off, Aoi is insanely obsessed with this boy band. I mean, is she an adult, guys? Like, come on now. Like, not to shame anyone, because I do constantly make long videos about a video game. And that, yeah, never mind. I don't have any room to talk. Aoi, continue to glaze online all you want. I literally have no room to talk. I have like 20 videos glazing Warframe. Anyway, from this request, we got a ton of incredibly interesting information from the correspondence between Hitmaker Music and the Halvanian government. And that's what we'll discuss now. We have 4 total emails, with the first email being sent in December of 1997, and it says this: "Good morning, Director. It is my pleasure to inform you that Hitmaker Music accepts your offer." There's a smoking young secretary faxing you our signed NDAs as I type this. Everyone here looks forward to hearing more about the technocyte coda project. As they say, nothing beats Halvania innovation. This promises to be a fine partnership. Keep up the good work, Gregory V. Despite the incredible lack of professionalism seen in this email, particularly the smoking young secretary line, this is a super important email that is not only the first mention of the technocyte coda project, but it also implies there's all sorts of missing correspondence between the two that we are missing that could possibly provide more information. I mean, they're already at the point of signing NDAs and discussing their collaboration as if it's written in stone. I wonder what we missed, how the Halvanian government and Hitmaker Music got into contact, what could have possibly been the original pitch, and so much more beyond that. Even now, almost a whole year after the original Warframe 1999 update was released, we still have so little information. The next email we have access to was sent in February 1998, and the contents are: "Good evening, Director. I'm happy to hear that the boys' samples arrived safely. Hairbrushes from pop star dressing rooms leading to major technological advancement. It's amazing when you think about it. I hope you get what you want out of them. What was it again? DNA? You've made incredible progress on the technocyte coda project in just a few short months. Nothing like loose regulations to encourage innovation, I suppose. Your broken eggs make the most delicious omelets. We love that about Halvania. Not sure how much sense I'll be able to make out of it, but please fax me the results. Here's to a bright future. Gregory V." This email makes 3 things incredibly clear to me. First off, they're using the DNA of the group to actually recreate their clones. They aren't trying to make cheap imitations of On-Lyne, they are literally attempting to recreate On-Lyne down to their very DNA structure by using the technocyte virus, which is pretty terrifying to be completely honest. The second thing that we learn is that Gregory is legitimately stupid and has zero clue what is going on, and that is he's just doing what he's told. He's literally sending DNA samples to Halvania without even knowing what DNA is somehow, and is probably completely oblivious to the dangers that come from messing with the technocyte virus, if he even knows it exists at this point. And finally, we learn that Halvania has extremely loose regulations, which is probably why the technocyte coda was developed there, and why that the government and scientists there were allowed to ever experiment with the technocyte virus in the first place, which of course led to the entire city being under quarantine. Remember guys, innovation without a leash usually leads to war crimes, or human rights violations, or both to be completely honest. You don't want to be somewhere where innovation is completely allowed to run wild, because usually bad things happen. I don't know what they had going on with these technocyte experiments, but it was probably as bad as Unit 731. Well, okay, maybe not that bad, because I don't know how it gets worse than that, but I bet it's kind of close to being that bad, except like fictionally. If you guys don't know what Unit 731 is, don't look it up. It's very depressing, but it's very interesting, and it's from World War II, so look it up if you're interested. It's what Japanese scientists did to some poor innocent civilians, basically. The next email is from August 1998, and says, "Good afternoon, Director. Or is it morning in Halvania? Time zones always makes me up." Yeah, because this guy's... Gregory's a fucking idiot, dude. I hate this guy. Okay, continuing the email read. "Been thinking a lot lately about some words I saw in your technocyte coda debrief. Predictable, standardized, and controlled. Music to my eyes right now. The only thing predictable about pop stars these days is their whining and complaining. Fame really goes to their perfectly coiffed heads. How are things going with the technocyte coda? I can't wait to meet these new and improved stars. Hoping for good news. Gregory V." This email is essentially just Gregory being a dick, and clearly happy that progress seems to be going well, based on whatever information that the director is sending back to him. Gregory mentions that they told him they have complete control over the technocyte clones, which is interesting because we'll find out that isn't true very soon. But something that Gregory is excited to hear because he's tired of dealing with the boys. And in all fairness, I do bet boy bands are annoying to deal with. But at least they aren't soulless evil clones hell-bent on killing everyone or converting them to their biomass, like Gregory apparently wants them to be. Alright, moving on to the final email that we have access to from this exchange. It's from December 1999 and is the only email sent that we have access to that was sent after the technocyte outbreak became worldwide news. "Good afternoon, Director. Given the boys' recent outburst, I appreciate your concern that their presence won't soothe your citizens as needed. I think it's an inspired idea to have the prototype technocyte coda replace the boys for spoken interviews. We'll use the scripts you provided, and I'll make sure no cameras are present. The boys will remain on standby for in-person appearances only. Here's to hoping the technocyte codas will soon be able to replicate the boys' physical appearance too. Apologies for the hassle. Gregory V." As you can tell, this email is much more somber, doesn't exactly have that flair and attitude Gregory normally has. I mean, damn, it's probably the one professional email that he sent in this exchange the entire time. That's because he realizes it would be inappropriate to talk about his smoking hot secretary while Halvania is literally quarantined and a large amount of its civilians have been killed. In this email, it talks about the prototype On-Lyne clones, and more interestingly, it implies that these clones are in Hitmaker's possession, based on the line, "We'll use the scripts you provided, and I'll make sure no cameras are present." This means that incredibly advanced technocyte coda clones are not in possession of the Halvania government, and that the Skaldra do not have access to them, or likely even the files regarding them, after the military takeover of the Halvania government. Anyway, these emails provide the bulk of the information that we know about the technocyte coda program, as well as information about the creation of On-Lyne evil monster clones. Before talking about what conclusions that this information leads us to, I want to talk about the climax of these actions by Hitmaker and the previous Halvanian government.
I am wary of people who value admiration above everything else.
As we see in the last email from Gregory, Halvania was interested in using On-Lyne to help improve the spirits of the citizens, as well as give them something to look forward to despite the horrific things that they were going through. For some reason though, Hitmaker Music were having some particularly bad issues with On-Lyne and weren't able to get the group to cooperate with the requests from Halvania. Well, I'm not sure why On-Lyne wouldn't do it. I'd be willing to bet they weren't willing to repeat certain propaganda that was probably trying to be pushed by the Halvanian government with their performance. Anyway, because of this, Gregory had the technocyte coda copies of them that he had access to give some interviews to inspire those suffering them. However, it appears like they made some more advancements to where the technocyte coda even looked like the On-Lyne members, because at some point throughout the story of Warframe 1999, Victor announces that On-Lyne will be able to perform their New Year's concert, lifting the curfew for the day. Victor also encourages the listeners to celebrate as if it was the party of their lifetime. The technocyte coda coming into contact with the Techrot was absolutely disastrous, and is what caused Hitmaker Music to lose control of the copies, and for them to start tormenting the citizens of Halvania, as well as attempt to hunt down and kill the Tenno when they find us playing their infected CDs. The reason that Hitmaker would have lost control is because of the Techrot functions as a hive mind, just like the infestation. Whoa, who would have thought? And the closer to proximity a massive Techrot is to one another, the more powerful and more alluring it is. Trying the technocyte coda around so much potent Techrot caused them to assimilate into the Techrot hive mind, when before they were probably actually controllable, believe it or not. Anyway, Victor allowing this concert to go on is very interesting, because it presents us with two possibilities in my opinion. One is that he's completely in the dark about the technocyte coda program and didn't realize the On-Lyne band performing were clones. Or he purposely had them perform to create a larger infection and to infect more civilians by raising the curfew, to ensure that Halvania remains under military control even longer, to fight this strengthened threat. I personally believe that he just didn't know, because he honestly doesn't seem to know a lot when it comes to the inner workings of the old Halvanian government. I mean, he didn't even know that the tank he was using had Techrot inside it, so I doubt he would know about something as secret as the technocyte coda project, especially if Hitmaker had the clones and not Victor or the Skaldro themselves. Anyway, as you all know, the Coda clones go absolutely insane after their concert and start tormenting the entire city, and it's your job to stop them. When the second part of the 1999 update dropped, there wasn't a whole lot more information dropped lore-wise surrounding them, at least not comparable to what we already had, so this might make you ask what happened to the original On-Lyne members, and well, as far as we know, they're perfectly fine, and based on the failure of the Technocyte Coda project, they're probably back in business as Hitmaker's biggest stars, so good for them, but kind of bad for everyone else to be completely honest. That is, assuming the label didn't just kill them off after creating their replacements so no one would ever find out that they were just fakes, which is also highly possible, and we are also assuming that they aren't stuck in Halvania with everyone else, which I do find unlikely, because if they were trapped there, there's like a 0% chance that Aoi hasn't saved them yet. So in my brain, they're either dead, locked away and hidden by Hitmaker, or well, they're off living their life in some sort of ocean resort somewhere. Hopefully, they'll release more music soon, because On-Lyne does have some absolute bangers. I mean, their music is even listenable outside of the context of Warframe, which is pretty incredible in my opinion. The OST and music team at DE are absolutely next level and deserve so much credit for putting together this band that legitimately sounds good with the few songs we do have from them. Something that I've covered before in a video nearly a year ago, back when Warframe 1999 first dropped, is what actually caused the Techrot outbreak. And one of my top theories was that the experimenting done by Halvania led to an outbreak of the disease. And that experimenting is of course including the Technocyte Coda project, meaning that's not unreasonable to believe that the project meant to create completely controllable boy band members led to the destruction of an entire city-state, and helped refine the disease that would in the future threaten the entire origin system and the greatest empire ever known. However, there are a ton of different theories of what started the Techrot, and it's incredibly and extremely unlikely that the Halvania government created it, and instead just cultivated and experimented with it. There are several other examples of the Techrot being used throughout the city-state, besides just this clones for a boy band as well. The Digital Extremes game studio, the one in the Warframe universe, not the real one, attempted to use the Techrot as some sort of advanced AI to better help the company make great games, and based on how good Warframe is, maybe the real DE is also using a version of Techrot or something. We better watch out for that. They're up in Canada. Who knows what they're doing up in Canada, man? That place freaks me out. That Canada place freaks me out. Anyway, another example is the H09 Evron tank, which had been created with Techrot within it to make it more powerful. I'm sure there are more examples of Techrot being used and experimented with, but these are the 3 major examples that are presented within the game. I just wanted to create this short section to discuss and dispel the idea that the development of the technocyte coda project is what actually created the Techrot. It's extremely unlikely that that's the case. However, it's also extremely likely that Helvania and Digital Extremes experimenting with the Techrot disease is what led to the outbreak, and probably made it more powerful as well. While I covered all of the actually important lore, I didn't really touch on what we know about the actual musical career of On-Lyne at all. And that is what I'll quickly do here. And this section will be short, since we really don't have a lot to go off of here, and we only really know a handful of their songs. Trust me, if there was a ton of information here, I would spend the next hour talking about it, just to get this runtime up for this video so I make more money. Joking. It's because I actually do enjoy the music, and I love both the songs that we have from them. Unironically, I've listened to them outside of Warframe. It's embarrassing to say that, but all of you are also probably doing that, so it's not that embarrassing. Anyway, we know the group originally blew up with a song called Running Late that propelled them to the top 5 on global music charts. We have yet to hear this song, unfortunately. However, we do know it exists because of the description that of On-Lyne we get through promotional material on their Spotify, on like the Apple Music, because they're all on all of that, which is sucks. I hope we get that song soon, but it's been like a year, so we might not. I don't know. But anyway, after the release of their first hit, Running Late, they released Party of Your Lifetime, which is the track that took them to the stratosphere, and of course, the one that we got to hear first from them. It went double platinum and led them to having a sold-out global tour. Their latest release was the song The Great Despair, which we also got to hear. By the way, global tour, I'm interested to see what kind of global tour they went on, because did they just go to Australia, the US, and Europe? Or are we talking we hit Africa? Did we hit China? Did we hit Japan? Did we hit Venezuela? I know damn sure they didn't hit Venezuela. But we all know that shit. It ain't no global tour. Anyway, The Great Despair is honestly, by the way, the second song we got the year. The Great Despair is honestly a song that is likely not actually created by them, but was actually created by their technocyte coda copies and not the group themselves. And to be honest with you, it's not just likely in my opinion, it's damn near for sure, honestly. Anyway, that is unfortunately all we really know about On-Lyne's career, but I'm really hoping that we get to hear more songs soon. A whole album would be absolutely amazing, make sense in the lore context, and probably be a fun project for DE to complete. I mean, making an On-Lyne album would literally just make everyone in the entire world happy and solve world peace and solve world hunger and cure Ebola. I'd be practicing dance moves for sure for that. Hell, if this video hits 10,000 likes, I'll practice K-pop choreography on stream someday in the future. That's such a terrible. Why did I even make that? I don't know any choreography. If 10,000 likes, guys, and I'll make a fool of myself. There's like a 90% chance that I'll throw my back out, by the way, if that happens. So if you want to see that, make sure to like and subscribe and encourage others to watch this video. Thank you. Alright, well, that's all I got for the meat of this video. While I'm sure there are some things that I missed, I feel as though I covered pretty much everything important about the boy band On-Lyne. In case you think I missed anything important or something just interesting, leave a comment down below and let me know. I'll pin the most interesting comment that I see, and I'll respond to some comments as well, I always do. I mean, I could have put in some fan-made fan fiction about the group to really include everything, but that's some material that I don't want to get into, if it would add to the world building of Warframe and make a ton of sense. I guarantee you that AOE was absolutely shipping different members of the group together. I bet she has some messed up freaky stuff in a journal somewhere. I just know it. And someday we're going to find it and we're going to read it. Make a whole lore video about her On-Lyne fan fictions. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe and help me reach my goal of 5,000 subscribers before the end of the year. It would mean a ton to me. It would be absolutely amazing way to end the year for this channel. The support recently has been absolutely amazing, so thank all of you. On top of that thank you, I want to say a massive, huge, unbelievably large thank you to my members Jay and Silent King 5000 who have been supporting this channel for so long. Thank you to a bunch. I really appreciate the support, and won't ever forget where this channel started from, with you guys right there. I also want to apologize that this video was late getting out for the members only. I think it should be on time for general public, but it was late for members only. I apologize. I don't know if you guys could tell throughout this recording, I have a very sore throat, so I had to do it in segments. I had to take breaks, and it just had a messed up throat. And on top of that, the other day there was a Google outage, and I used Google Docs, and it stopped me from completing my script on time, which also led to me recording late, which I was already going to be late with because of my sore throat. So there was a lot going on. So I do apologize for that, and next video shouldn't be late, and if it is, then sorry. Fuck, I don't know. But sorry about that for members. Anyway, that is the end of this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay blessed, stay happy, and most importantly, guys, stay safe out there. Goodbye.